Hello students, today we are going to discuss class 8 science chapter number 2 microorganisms fourth part. In the third part I have explained you about the harmful microorganisms. In this part we are going to discuss about microbes and food spoilage, which microbes destroy the food. After then we are going to describe about the food preservation, the process of food preservations like dehydration, heating, refrigeration and freezing, vacuum packing, canning, adding some preservative like salting, sugar and chemical preservative. After learning about these microbes, then we will move towards the nitrogen cycle, atmospheric nitrogen fixation, biological nitrogen fixation, nitrogen assimilation, ammonification, nitrification and denitrification, and then we will complete this chapter. So before moving ahead, I would like to tell you, if you have not watched all the three parts of this chapter, please go and just search in my YouTube channel. Just click my YouTube channel, goes in video, and then search class 8 chapter number 2 or whatever the part is left for you. You can go and you can just listen that videos. After listening all that videos, then we'll move towards this video. So let us start microbes and food spoilage. So first of all, before starting this topic, I would like to ask you, in the previous video I have informed you about the harmful microbes which are being, especially the microbes which are harming to our plants, animals and human beings. In this, the microbes are harming to the food products, right? That is called microbes and food spoilage. Have you ever seen that your mom is cooking early in the morning food, and if she has cooked a lot, so it will remain till evening or till night? So sometimes what happens in the summer season, that food becomes spoilage. Do you know why? Can you tell me? Because of lot of heat? No, because of microbes. Let's start the food spoiling of food. Food products can become contaminated by bacteria and fungi. Yeah, especially when your mom started boiling the milk. If she had bought milk from the shop or from the milkman and she had not boiled the milk, what will happen? That milk will spoil. She had bought some vegetable, vegetarian or non-vegetarian. If she will not cook, then that will be spoiled. Some fruits also, if you are not eating for a long time, it will be also spoiled. Spoiled contains toxins produced by the microbes, which can either reduce the taste or smell of food, causes illness called food poisoning. Just remember, if you are bringing something from the vegetable market and you are not using for a long time, then that food is spoiled. It can damage the taste or it can become a food poison. So that's why, remember, the action of yeast on fruits juice, which is unsuitable to drink. This is because yeast converts sugar into the juice to alcohol. The presence of some kind of microbes in food can use infection diseases. For example, salmonella in meat and eggs can cause typhoid. So remember, this is salmonella, especially for eggs and meat. This, if you are not using for the long time, then that it can give you a typhoid. Typhoid is a high fever diseases. When you are getting fever, you will see 101 or 102. But when the typhoid comes, it cross 104. Remember, 104 Fahrenheit degrees Fahrenheit. If it cracks, then you can get a sudden death also. So remember, dear students, we should not get any typhoid diseases. But whenever we are bringing any food item, we should use it in a proper way. We should not leave anything for a long time. In any food items in our house, it must be used regularly. Whatever the items we are bringing from the market, it should be in a regular use. It should not be for a long time. Now, second, if we are bringing and if we are keeping for a long time, then what should we do? That is in the food preservation. Food preservation means a variety of methods are used to stop the food from spoiling. That is called food preservation. First is dehydration. Dehydration means what? Hydration means water and de means without water. So if we remove water from that food, then it can be preserved for a little bit long time. Dehydration is one of the oldest method of food preservation. It removes moisture from food and so stop microbes from growing on it. Dehydration also decreases the weight of the food, making it easier to store and transport. However, some vitamins and vitamin B complex and vitamin C are destroyed when food is dehydrated. Remember, dear students, in the olden days, this method were being used, that is dehydration. Dehydration means what? Nowadays also you will see, like your mother wants to make potato chips. What she will bring a 50 kg potato or 25 kg potato. She will make chips and she will put on the roof or terrace, so that potato will be dried. Dried means loss of water. In that potato, water should not remain. Water is the main source of growing microbes. So if the water is being removed, means either some of the vitamins also get lost because of the loss of this water. So especially dehydration is a process by which food can be preserved for a long time. As for example, potato chips, you may have seen some of the persons put cauliflower in the village or some areas. Here we are getting everywhere cauliflower each and every month also, but in some village area you will see cauliflower all the months we do not get. So the person which want to eat all the months, so what do? They bring cauliflower. When the cauliflower is 5 rupees or 10 rupees kg, they bring 20 kg, 50 kg, 70 kg, and after then they cut into the small pieces. They put at the roof or terrace, and when the 70 kg cauliflower dried and it becomes only 20 kg, remember, because of the loss of water the weight also reduces, and that it can be stored for a long time, and whenever we want we can cook and we can eat. So this was the process called dehydration. Second is heating. Heating food kills most of the microbes. Yeah, if you want to give 1 day, 2 day, 3 day milks, then you have to do heating. Heating is a process by which microbes are being killed and it can be stored for a long time. So heating food kills most microbes. That is why water and milk are heated till they boil before they are drunk. Louis Pasteur found that heating food to around 60 degrees Celsius was enough to kill most bacteria. So that's why milk is being heated till 72 degrees Celsius for about 15 seconds and rapidly cooled for around 4 degrees Celsius. The high temperature kills the bacteria in the milk and rapid cooling prevents recontamination. This method is called pasteurization. There was one scientist called Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur, what he had done? He had, for food preservation, he had given a method called heating. So what happened? Any bacteria which are present in the liquid containing food item, so when they are being heated, so while heating they kill the microbes and that food can be prevented. Till 60 degrees Celsius if you are heating any liquid, so the microbes can't grow or can't stay till 60 degrees, they are being killed in that food items. So you will see your mother when she is bringing milk from the shop, she boil the milk, and means if I ask you what is the boiling point of milk, then 72 degrees Celsius. After boiling the milk she cools and then it goes to the 4 degrees Celsius. This method means after boiling the temperature which kills the bacteria in the milk and rapid cooling process or recommendations is called recontamination, is called pasteurization. This was given by Louis Pasteur. Now the third one is refrigeration and freezing. Have you heard refrigeration? Refrigerator, what you have heard? You are freeze or freezing. In the freeze also you are having freezer when you are where you are making ice, right? So what happens when you want to keep some of the food for a long time? Then this method is very useful. Remember, refrigerators. If your mother don't wants to boil the milk, she had boiled early in the morning at 6 a.m. and she don't want to right now boil the milk, so she keep into the refrigerator. That milk is not being spoiled. That is, milk is not being destroyed. Why? Because that freezer or refrigerator prevent the milk for a little bit long time, right? So here, refrigerator, most microbes need an optimum temperature to grow and multiply. Remember, dear student, temperature is very mostful things or needful things to grow microbes. You can't give either too hot temperature or too cold temperature. They need a minimum temperature. In that temperature only they can grow. If you are giving too cold also, at that temperature also they do not grow or they do not become, and at high temperature they die only. Okay, so remember, they need a fixed temperature where they can grow. So here, most microbes need an optimum temperature to grow and multiply. Cooling food makes them inactive and also slows down their growth and multiplication. Food does not spoil for few days. It is being stored till 5 degrees Celsius and for a month at minus 18 degrees Celsius. When the food is thawed, the microbes becomes active again, and so the food has to be used up soon after. Remember, dear students, whenever you are putting anything into the refrigerator nowadays, you are just using in 1 day or 2 days, but if it is being for a long time, so remember, if you are using for before a week, then 5 degrees Celsius is enough. But if you are eating after a month, then at least it requires minus 18 degrees Celsius. Till that, the microbes will not grow, microbes will not spoil that food. And after that, means after a month, after 2 months, after 3 months, if you are going to use, then after breaking the food packet, you should use that food very soon. Otherwise, again that food items can be destroyed, it can be spoiled. So this was our third point, and now we are moving towards vacuum packing. Have you heard the word vacuum packing? Many microbes are aerobic. They are growing into the air. That is, they use oxygen for respiration in the air. When food is stored in the vacuum, these microbes cannot grow and multiply due to the lack of oxygen. This method is commonly used to store nuts, grains, coffee, and so on. In the case of items such as chips, which will get crushed in a vacuum packed bag, the air inside is replaced with the nitrogen. Yes, you remember. Some of the microbes require oxygen for respiration. So what happens? Some of the food items are being packed in the vacuum. Why they are being packed in the vacuum? Because that food items will not get microbes and they will be stored for a long time. You may have heard about all the groundnuts like kaju, badam. So these are being packed at the vacuum, means no air. So in the vacuum they are being seal packed. But if I talk about the chips items like kurkure, chips, tomato chips, so these all are being replaced with the nitrogen gas. Instead of vacuum, they are being replaced with the nitrogen gas. So all that nitrogen gas helps that food chips to preserve for a long time. Before 6 months you can use the chip. After manufacturing, means within the 6 months you have to eat that chips, and that 6 month can be preserved with the nitrogen gas. So this was our vacuum packing. Now we are moving towards canning. Have you heard the word canning? Microbes need air, and so storing food in airtight can help it to stay unspoiled for a long time. Jams, fruit, vegetables, fish, and so can be canned. How many of you have drank the cane of Sprite or Thumbs Up or Coca-Cola cane? Yeah. If it is in the cane, then what happens? It can be not destroyed. It can be stored for a long time. You may have seen that some of the oils are being specially canned. You are being in oil tin, right? So some jams, some fruits, some vegetable, fish, and other kind being canned, and it can be stored for. Now the next and last topic for food preservation is adding preservative. Means food is already there. You have to add something so that food can be preserved. What you will add into the food so that food can be preserved? Salt. You may have seen that pickles. In the village we are making pickles, so we are adding salt, right? So some edible substances either kill microbes or prevent their growth. Oil and vinegar are the two examples of substances that prevent microbial growth. Food material and pickled in oil and vinegar, so store them for a long time. Vegetables, fruits, fish, and meat can be preserved by this way. Means adding some preservation will help these food items for a long time to stay. Salting. Salting is mainly used to preserve meat and fish. If you are putting salt on the meat and fish, then it can be remain for a long time. Some vegetables like chili. How many of you have taken the chili pickles? So chili, mango, these are also being preserved by adding the salt. Salt forces moisture out of the food and the microbes, thus to prevent microbes from growing. Means whenever we are putting salt inside that, the food items like pickle of chili or mango, this salt forces the moisture to come. They do not allow the moisture to come out. It remains the moisture inside that food item. So that's why microbes do not grow. Now next one is sugar. Sugar is also used to preserve fruits. Jam and jelly are the examples of fruits preserved with the sugar. Yes. Jam and jelly can be preserved for a long time with the help of the sugar. If you are adding sugar into the jam and jelly, it can be preserved for a long time. Chemical preservative like sodium benzoate, it is a chemical, sodium benzoate, or sodium metabisulfate are also used for the chemical preparation of pickle, squash, ketchup and jam to make food last longer. Nowadays you are seeing that all the things are coming artificial only. So for the artificial we require some chemical preservatives. So if we are putting this chemical preservative like sodium benzoate or sodium metabisulfate, if we are adding to this jam or pickles, so it can be stayed for a long time. I hope all of you have understood microbes and food spoilage, spoiling of food, food preservation like dehydration, heating, refrigeration and freezing, vacuum packing, canning or adding preservative like sugar, salt and chemical preservative. Next topic is nitrogen cycle. Before describing the next topic, you can write this thing in your notebook. Whatever I have explained, you can pause the video and you can write this thing. You can take a screenshot. I hope all of you have taken screenshot. Now we are moving towards the nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen is the most abundant gas present in the atmosphere, that is 78%, and this nitrogen are the special causes of protein and DNA, right? So let's read about the nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen is a major constituent of the earth atmosphere. It is a part of protein and DNA, the hereditary material in the cells, but plants cannot use this nitrogen as it is. It has to be converted to forms before the plants can take up it. The process by which atmospheric nitrogen is converted to usable forms of nitrogen is called nitrogen fixation. Remember dear students, the process by which atmospheric nitrogen is converted to the usable forms of nitrogen is called nitrogen fixation. What is atmospheric nitrogen fixation? Atmospheric nitrogen fixation is the large amount of energy in lightning oxidize a small amount of atmospheric nitrogen into its oxide. So the nitrogen oxide dissolves into the rain and it can convert into the nitric acid. The chemical formula of nitric acid is HNO3. So the nitric acid reacts with the compound in the soil forming soluble nitrates, and that can be taken up by the plants. So when N2 nitrogen reacts with oxygen O2, it gives you 2NO, right? N2 plus O2, it gives you N2 plus O2 gives you 2NO, nitrogen oxide, right? Second one is when this 2NO is being reacted with again oxygen, it gives you nitrogen dioxide, that is 2NO2. When this nitrogen dioxide is reacted with water, 2NO2 is reacted with H2O means water, then it gives us nitric acid. Again it reacts with water and oxygen, so it gives us nitric acid. So remember this chemical formula, don't forget to write in your notebook these chemical formulas. So you have seen here N2 plus O2 gives us 2NO, 2NO plus O2 gives us 2NO2, 2NO2 plus 2H2O plus O2 gives us 4HNO3. HNO3 is the chemical formula of nitric acid. So when this nitrogen converts, atmospheric nitrogen converts, and is it favorable for the plant, then only that nitrogen fixation are being used to the plant. Biological nitrogen fixation, some of the bacteria which we have studied in the first chapter also about the rhizobiums and legumes plants fix the nitrogen for the plants. That process is called biological nitrogen fixation. Nitrogen assimilation. Plants take up the use of nitrogen compounds formed as a result of nitrogen fixation through their roots to make protein for the growth. Nitrogen thus become a part of plant tissues. The nitrogen is passed on the herbivorous and carnivorous through the food chain and becomes a part of animal tissue. The conversion of nitrogen compound into the tissue is called nitrogen assimilation. The definition of nitrogen assimilation you can write, the conversion of nitrogen compounds into tissues is called nitrogen assimilation. Especially it is being used for the tissues for the plants in the roots, that how the plants will grow into the more and more cells, so that is called tissues. Next one is ammonification. Ammonification means when plants and animals die, they decompose to the dead materials, so ammonia is produced during this process. The process of formation of ammonia by fungi and bacteria when they are decomposed, dead and waste material is called ammonification. Means when any of the dead body means plant or animals are dead, so they produce ammonia, and this is caused because of the bacteria and fungi. So the process of formation of ammonia by fungi and bacteria through the decomposed and dead waste materials is called ammonification. Second last is nitrification. Nitrification means some of the ammonia form is taken directly by plants while the rest is converted into the nitrates by nitrifying bacteria. So remember what is the ammonification, sorry, nitrification. Nitrification means the process of converting ammonia to nitrates. The process of converting ammonia to nitrates in the solid is called nitrification. The process of converting ammonia to nitrates in the solid form is called nitrification. Some of the nitrates are absorbed by the plants. Last but not the least, denitrification. What is denitrification? Denitrification means the process of conversion of nitrates to atmospheric nitrogen is called, means again back to the atmospheric nitrogen. The process of converting nitrates to atmospheric nitrogen is called denitration. This was the last topic of this chapter. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Share this video with your friends. Thanks for watching. You can take a screenshot.